Alright guys, we're going to get started on this second part of this tutorial, which is going to cover the metallics. Here you can see I've already painted them for the most part. I am going to repaint just that section there, just to, I wasn't quite happy with how it turned out the first time, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out on the model itself, but the tutorial section of it I wasn't quite happy with, so I'm just going to cover this area, and then you guys can go from there with how you want to. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get started on the second part of this tutorial. Sorry it took so long to get this part up, but because of work I've been gone for the past 24 days. So I've already finished metallics on here. I'm pretty happy with them, but I wasn't happy with how the tutorial came out, so I'm just going to cover this part here in the tutorial, just to give you an idea. You know, I know it's a flat surface. Usually a flat surface wouldn't have a gradient, but they're too boring to be left alone, so add a little bit to it to make it stand out some. So what I'll be using is just paints from this silver paint set from the Andrea color. It turns out pretty nice. It thins really nice. Coverage, not as good as you'd get with the Model Air, but I think the shine is much nicer with this set over the Model Air stuff. So I'm going to start with the base color. The base is obviously steel. If you got the paint set, it's easy enough. If you don't have it, I think I'll try to see if I got a color here to match it. I can't find another paint to match that with, but it's basically your mid-range metallics in your set, whatever set you're painting with. GW and whatever else. Just try and figure that out, I guess. I can't, I don't use the GW paint, so I don't know the range that well. Especially the new range. I really kind of lost on that. So I'm just going to coat this section with this paint. This will probably take a couple coats. I know I've said it before, but you always want to do multiple coats, even if it's metallics. I know they kind of separate a little bit when you're when you thin them down, but that's alright. You're gonna get a much nicer finish if you thin your metallics. You're gonna get a much shinier finish, more mirror-like. Now there are other paints that are far superior for metallics. I've got some kicking around somewhere, but I'm going to do a review on that later on in the week. So I'm just going to thin that down just a little bit more. And I'm going to finish coating this, letting it dry, and coating it and letting it dry. And then I'll come back and we'll do the highlight and the shadow, and then we'll take it a little bit further later on. Alright, we'll see you in a bit. Alright, so the base coat's done on that part of the casing for on the gun there. We're going to go ahead and do the shadow. We're going to focus this mostly on the top third of that part. You're going to thin it down roughly 2 to 1. It's going to take a little bit, so like 2-3 coats to start noticing a difference in the transition. So let's just zoom in a little bit. Right there. Alright, this might get a little bit shaky, but hopefully I'll stay in frame for you. So we're just gonna push to the top. So you'll see a little difference in it. So you got the it's lighter down here and a little darker up top. So we'll do another pass with that. Mainly focus right at the very tops there. Wipe the brush off a little bit. See if we can get in there quick enough to manipulate that a little. So I'm going to go back to our base color and pull down just to pull, because it's a little too dark too quick. So just take a little bit, go to the very edge of where it starts getting dark. I'm just gonna pull the color down a little bit, and that'll smooth it out a little bit there. So that's alright to me. Let's do one more pass with the darkest color, and we're just gonna go right up there. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead and hit the highlight color out, which is gonna be the light silver. We're still gonna thin it down. It's not gonna be a huge difference in the color here. It's just gonna give it a little tiny bit of contrast. Once we get to the next part of this, it'll start looking a little better. So now we take the highest highlight, which will be our silver in our paint set. If you don't have the paint set, that's fine. You just gotta kind of match up the colors a little bit. The Andreas are all paint set colors, and I haven't found any color equivalency charts to match the two up with any other companies, so I'm not sure what the lightest one in the range you're using is, so anyways, that's it for that part. We'll come back and do the inking, but before that I want to zoom this out a little bit. So there's the highest highlight. This is the shadow on the which is all, you know, like, I got the Model Air black. It's pretty close. You're probably better off going with like the gunmetal, and then your mithril silver, and just kind of for the mid-range, just mix the mithril silver and the gunmetal together, and you'll probably get something close to that. Out of those paints, yeah, I don't know too many ranges. Stopped using GW when they went to the new pots, and yeah, just started going straight to the droppers, and yeah, I much prefer them. So we'll be right back with to do the inking process of the metallics. Alright guys, so we're going to be using these also come in the paint set, the brown ink and the ultramarine blue ink. We're going to be using a 2-to-1 mix, 2 parts of the brown, 1 part of the blue, and that's going to be thinned down about 2 to 1. So yeah, for every drop of ink we're going to add 2 drops of water. So 2 drops water to 1 part ink. Or 2 parts, whatever you're using to thin your paints. Preferably something for acrylics. And if it's not thin enough, just add just a little bit more. Doesn't matter, because we just want to get a fairly smooth transition between the two. So if there's a little bit of choppiness in the paint, that's all right, especially when it gets to the darker shadows, because this process is going to take care of all of that, or a lot of that anyways. So a little bit up there. Alrighty, you can see a good difference after like the first layer. I screwed up there. Need to put a couple more drops of the blue ink back in. So it's supposed to be the opposite, two parts blue to 1 part brown. So alright, there we go. I'm gonna add a few more drops. Add maybe 3 drops to 1. One drop ink, so there we go, that looks better. Alright, get that guy in focus. So just doing this the same as we did all the other layering, and nice thin layers. And that's pretty much it for the metallics. I'm not going to take it any further than that. I think that looks good. If you really wanted to, you could add a highlight to the very edge of that top, just to bring it out a little bit, break up the better if you use if you don't have thin paint for this edging. It definitely helps to get it on there nicely. Alright guys, that's it for the metallic portion of this tutorial. The next part will be working on the red bits, so the casing on the gun and the lenses for the helmet. Alright guys, we'll see you soon. Alright, bye.